Well guys, the post-credit scene to Shang-Chi definitely teases a lot. There's a lot in motion here that will impact all of the MCU and specifically the characters from the film. So let's talk about that post-credit scene, and quite obviously, spoilers. A lot of them. So quite obviously, the main villain of Shang-Chi is the Mandarin. Now, along with him, we learn more about the entire organization that is the Ten Rings, a little bit about the rings themselves, but there's a lot of vague context that is left that relates to everything in this new world and corner of the MCU. Much like when they introduced us to Captain Marvel and Black Panther and Wakanda, they're leaving a lot of pieces on the table to explore down the road. Obviously, I talked about it in the mid-credit scene. Something is going on with the rings, as they're sort of space beacons, if you will. Well, in the post-credit scene, we see Shang-Chi's sister, and they tell her they're here. She slowly walks out, and she ends up taking over the entire palace. The palace of the Ten Rings. We also see the brand new Ten Rings logo as she then sits on the throne. The camera pans around and out, and we see that she has many new servants to command and such, and she is the new leader of the Ten Rings. And it's quite obvious, as it says, the Ten Rings will return. Now, there's a lot between this and the mid-credit scene that is a huge implication on many directions the MCU is going to go in. Quite obviously, there is the new Ten Rings, the new leader, Shang-Chi as a new Avenger, the Space Beacon, Captain Marvel, the Hulk, Emil Blonsky, Abomination, Wong, them sort of not being really enemies or anything like that. There's a lot going on here, and it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with this and what direction they go in, but quite obviously, we are not done with the Ten Rings. This was just like the beginning of a major shift of power and a war in the MCU, with the Mandarin, the name just being passed down to another person. And again, if you watch the movie, you understand the Mandarin throughout history and all that, and the Iron Man 3 element and everything, so I'm super intrigued by this and very interested to see what they do with the rings and this organization in general, because, man, this movie was amazing.